Tommy Buns, Bundy. Tommy Bundy, played by DMX in 1998's Belly, is one of the most unapologetically raw characters in the black gangster film canon. From the opening heist scene inside a dimly lit nightclub, backlit in blue neon, soaked in Hype Williams' signature style, Buns is introduced as a man driven by power, recklessness, and a profound hunger for dominance. He's not just a street hustler, he's a symbol of late 90s nihilism, moving through life with intensity and no regard for rules, legal, moral, or even personal. Buns operates in a world defined by cold ambition and unrelenting motion. He's first seen alongside his right-hand man, Sincere, played by Nas, as they violently rob a club. From the outset, the divide between the two is clear. Sincere wants a way out, yearning for peace and a better future, while Buns is entirely immersed in the streets. His identity is tied to power, guns, drug money, and fear-based respect. This is a man who thrives on chaos. His interactions are marked by dominance, whether he's threatening rivals or manipulating those closest to him. Even his girlfriend Keisha is treated more like an accessory to his lifestyle than a partner. In every scene, Buns walks like he owns the moment, speaking in clipped aggression, never backing down. One of the pivotal traits of Buns is his refusal to reflect. He's reactive, living in the present moment with no concern for long-term consequences. When Sincere talks about moving to Africa to escape the streets, Buns dismisses it outright, choosing instead to double down on his path of destruction.
Yo, I'm going to Africa. Africa?
This resistance to change reveals a deeper tragedy. Buns is not just violent, he's trapped by ego, by trauma, and by a warped sense of masculinity that equates fear with respect. As the narrative progresses, Buns' descent becomes more spiritual. After fleeing from a drug bust and getting deeper into the criminal underworld, he ends up in Jamaica, where the criminal element grows more intense and abstract. His encounter with powerful criminal figures only feeds his paranoia and detachment. Eventually, he's approached by a covert government entity that recruits him to assassinate a black religious leader.
In no circumstances is the minister to make that speech. Real messy, no mistake.
This moment is critical. It marks Buns' full transformation from street soldier to a manipulated tool of institutional power. It's no longer just about money or drugs. Now, he's being used to silence a voice of empowerment in the black community. The climax comes when Buns, weapon in hand, approaches the leader he's been sent to kill. But instead of completing the mission, he listens. He hears words of peace, change, and purpose, things he has ignored his entire life. For the first time, Buns chooses not to act with violence. It's a jarring shift. The moment is abrupt but powerful. The gangster who lived by the gun finally lays it down. The transformation isn't clean or redemptive in the traditional sense, but it suggests a sliver of awakening in a man built entirely from pain. Buns is unforgettable because he embodies the full arc of self-destruction and the flicker of redemption. DMX's performance is volatile, unpredictable, and fully authentic.
Drop the gun! Hold it, stay where you are. Will you choose life?
Doughboy. Doughboy, played by Ice Cube in Boys in the Hood, is one of the most tragic and complex figures in black gangster cinema. Introduced as a young boy already caught in the gravitational pull of the streets, Doughboy grows up in South Central Los Angeles, a product of his environment and a victim of systemic neglect. He's not just a gangster, he's a layered portrait of pain, loyalty, defiance, and inevitable loss. From his first scenes as a teenager, Doughboy is visibly hardened by his surroundings. He's just been released from juvenile detention, and the streets greet him like an old friend. His mother treats him with clear resentment, favoring his younger brother Ricky, the star athlete, with a promising future. This parental imbalance feeds Doughboy's anger and alienation, shaping his sense of identity as the expendable one, the one already written off. Doughboy moves through life with a code, a rigid sense of loyalty, and street justice. He doesn't look for trouble, but when it finds him, he doesn't flinch. He stands up for his brother, his friends, and himself, even if it means risking his life. He's sharp, emotionally aware, and deeply observant. Beneath the surface-level bravado is a young man who understands the rules of his world too well. He knows that respect on the streets is currency, and weakness gets you killed. Throughout the film, Doughboy is a constant contrast to his friend, Trey, who lives with a strong father figure and aspires to leave the neighborhood. Doughboy doesn't have that structure. He has the streets and a mother who never believed in him. His aggression, his temper, and his criminal behavior are all extensions of this deeper abandonment. He's trying to carve out value in a world that tells him he has none. The pivotal moment of Doughboy's arc comes with the murder of Ricky. His younger brother, who represents the family's last hope, is gunned down by gang members in a senseless act of violence. For Doughboy, this isn't just a personal loss, it's confirmation of everything he already believed about the world. The streets don't reward goodness. Dreams don't protect you. Innocence gets buried just like guilt. Doughboy's response is immediate and ruthless. He hunts down the killers and executes them. It's not about justice, it's about rage and inevitability. When he returns home, covered in sweat and silent trauma, he doesn't celebrate. He just sits on his porch, drinking and reflecting, knowing nothing has changed. The pain is still there. Ricky is still dead, and the cycle continues. In his final conversation with Trey, Doughboy delivers one of the film's most haunting insights. He talks about seeing news coverage of tragedy overseas while violence in the black community goes ignored.
Turned on the TV this morning, showed all these foreign places. Started thinking, I don't care about what's going on in the hood.
His awareness of systemic erasure, of the devaluation of black lives, shows a depth often missing from typical portrayals of gangsters. Doughboy is not glorified. He is mourned in advance. The film ends with a simple, chilling note. Doughboy was murdered 2 weeks later. No fanfare, no redemption arc. Just a statistic, another lost life in a war no one claims responsibility for. Ice Cube's performance is restrained, emotionally raw, and unforgettable. Doughboy is the beating heart of boys in the hood, a representation of how the streets don't just kill bodies, they erase potential.
There ain't no God. There was a God. Why be letting motherfuckers get smoked every night?
Sorry for stopping your video, but you really should subscribe.
Dwayne Gittens, aka God. Dwayne Gittens, better known by his street name God, is portrayed by LL Cool J in 1999's In Too Deep. Among cinematic gangsters, God stands out as one of the most coldly charismatic and psychologically disturbing figures. He doesn't just control a criminal empire, he cultivates a cult of personality, demanding loyalty through fear, manipulation, and near-religious devotion. His nickname isn't hyperbole in his world, it's a commandment. From his introduction, God is shown as a man who rules through spectacle. He hosts massive community events, handing out money, food, and supplies to struggling neighborhoods. He presents himself as a provider, a savior, but it's all a carefully crafted illusion. His generosity comes with unspoken conditions, absolute loyalty, and unquestioned obedience. He's not a businessman in the traditional sense, he's a dictator disguised as a benefactor. His criminal enterprise is built on psychological domination, not just profit. God's ability to manipulate isn't just external. His greatest power is the way he infects the minds of those around him. When undercover officer Jeff Cole, played by Omar Epps, infiltrates God's inner circle under the alias J. Reed, the film becomes a battle for identity. God sees Cole's ambition and instability and begins grooming him like a protege. He doesn't use threats or pressure at first, he uses acceptance, power, and praise. It's a masterclass in control. God understands that the best way to keep someone close is to make them feel indispensable. LL Cool J's performance as God is chilling in its restraint. He doesn't yell, he rarely raises his voice. Instead, he speaks with calculated calm, even when describing acts of extreme violence. One of the most infamous scenes involves God beating a man with a pool stick, all while lecturing him like a father correcting a child. It's this mixture of physical brutality and psychological detachment that makes him so terrifying. He's not emotional, he's methodical. His violence isn't reactive, it's structural. What makes God even more dangerous is how he weaponizes image. He walks with calm authority, wears designer suits, and speaks with a blend of street and scripture. He's not content with being feared, he wants to be worshipped. He constructs a moral code within his criminal empire, redefining right and wrong under his own logic. He punishes betrayal with biblical wrath and rewards loyalty with lavish gifts. To his followers, he's not a drug dealer, he's salvation. But this obsession with control also becomes his weakness. As Cole embeds deeper into his world, the lines between cop and criminal blur. God's influence begins to crack Cole's identity, but the longer the game goes on, the more paranoid God becomes. Eventually, Cole's cover is blown, and the betrayal hits God like a personal insult, not just disloyalty, but sacrilege. In the film's climax, God is finally taken down, not by violence, but by psychological disintegration. Cole confronts him, no longer undercover, but as a cop sent to take everything he's built. God is arrested, and as he's dragged away, he screams about betrayal and punishment, still clutching to the delusion of his own divinity.
Hi, Jay Reed. You ain't no cop. You ain't no cop, Jay Reed.
His fall isn't just a criminal getting caught, it's a deity being dethroned. LL Cool J transformed his image completely for the role, shedding any trace of his rapper persona to embody a gangster who doesn't just break laws, he rewrites them.
This here's Jay Reed. Jay Reed is the guy. His brother turned out to be a top customer and a down brother. Oh, yeah?
Mad Max. In Shotas, Mad Max isn't just the muscle, he's the myth. In a world ruled by guns, loyalty, and the brutal logic of survival, Mad Max is the last man standing, even when he's shot and bleeding out. He's not a talker. He doesn't monologue or negotiate. He moves, he strikes, and he kills. His silence is strategic. Without a single wasted word, Mad Max projects pure menace. This is not a man caught between good and evil. He's not trying to escape the life. He is the life. The logic of violence, the code of loyalty, the absence of fear, all of it lives in him. When he acts, it's with precision. When he kills, it's final. There is no remorse, no hesitation, and no redemption in his eyes. He is the purest enforcer in the Shota's world. Not because he enjoys the violence, but because violence is the only language he was ever taught. In the film's climactic moment, when Biggs is about to be executed and Max himself is wounded, he still finds the strength to rise and pull the trigger. He doesn't scream or shout. He simply does what needs to be done. In that instant, his loyalty becomes legendary. He saves Biggs not with words or promises, but with bullets. And then he collapses, silent to the end. Paul Campbell's performance as Mad Max is a study in psychological control. Knowing the character would be remembered for presence rather than speech, Campbell made the calculated choice to speak as little as possible. Instead, he used his body as the script. His stare was a warning. His walk was a threat. His stillness, when surrounded by chaos, made him the most dangerous man in any room. Campbell's gift as an actor lies in his ability to communicate emotional pressure through silence. It's not just that Max doesn't talk, it's that he makes everyone else around him talk more. They try to fill the silence, to decode what he's thinking, and in that space, he dominates them. This is performance by suppression, the art of doing less to make a greater impact. Director Cesc Silvera called Mad Max a modern-day Dracula, a man possessed not by evil, but by the love of death. That insight reframes everything. Max doesn't choose violence. He is consumed by it. He doesn't speak because there's nothing left to say. In a broken world, he is what remains when all other tools fail, the final consequence of poverty, neglect, and rage. As a symbolic figure, he isn't a villain or a hero. He's the monster the system made. And he doesn't ask for forgiveness. Rico, played by Cameron in Paid in Full, is one of the most cold-blooded and animated figures in gangster cinema. Loosely inspired by real-life Harlem drug dealer Alpo Martinez, Rico enters the story not as a mastermind, but as a volatile disruptor. He doesn't climb his way up, he bulldozes in, taking space through violence, charisma, and a reckless appetite for power. His presence shifts the film's energy from calculated hustle to unhinged mayhem. When Rico is first introduced, he's flashy, loud, and unapologetically dangerous. He has no filter, no subtlety, and no patience. His loyalty to money and reputation supersedes any bond or alliance. What makes Rico so chilling isn't just that he kills, it's that he enjoys it. He's not a product of circumstance trying to survive, he's a predator operating without a conscience. He treats murder like sport, constantly bragging about his body count and pulling rank in conversations by reminding others of the violence he's capable of. From the moment he links up with Ace and Mitch, Rico injects instability into the crew. He doesn't respect hierarchy or rules, he only respects dominance. If he feels disrespected, the guns come out. If he sees weakness, he exploits it. He's that wild card every empire fears, the guy who can get things done but will burn it all down if he feels cornered. One of the most defining scenes is Rico's killing of Calvin, a man who had previously been loyal to Ace but eventually turned on him out of jealousy. It's not just a hit, it's a statement. Rico sees himself as the future, and anyone tied to the old way is expendable. He's strategic only in the sense that he removes threats quickly, but he lacks the discipline to think long-term. For Rico, every day is a battlefield, and his solution is always extreme force. His paranoia and ego only grow as the crew becomes more successful. He starts seeing enemies everywhere and begins to question the loyalty of his own partners. This culminates in his betrayal of Mitch Knott, arguably the film's most devastating moment. Mitch, who trusted Rico as a brother, is murdered after Rico learns that Mitch has acquired a large amount of drugs to raise money for his kidnapped brother. The betrayal isn't just brutal, it's methodical. Rico doesn't kill impulsively here. He plans it, executes it, and walks away without remorse. It's the ultimate violation of street code, killing someone who fed you, who vouched for you, who called you family. What makes Rico particularly haunting is his post-arrest attitude. When he's finally caught, he doesn't express fear or regret. He smiles. He talks about going down south to start over, ready to snitch on anyone, just to save himself.
A couple cats down in D.C. doing their thing, out of town doing their thing, but I'm not snitching on nobody in Harlem, cause
there's no loyalty, no code, just survival. Rico is a reminder that in the drug game, the biggest threat isn't always the cops or the rivals. Sometimes it's the person sitting next to you. Cameron's portrayal is disturbingly authentic. He brings street logic, unpredictable energy, and raw aggression to the role. Rico isn't a caricature, he's a real-life archetype. The flashy, fearless shooter who talks too much, trusts no one, and dies or disappears before 30. The charisma makes him magnetic. The violence makes him lethal. The betrayal makes him unforgettable.
Nigga fucking giving up. I love you, B.
Jules Winnfield. Jules Winnfield, portrayed by Samuel L. in Pulp Fiction, is a philosophical hitman who stands out not only for his striking appearance and unforgettable dialogue, but also for his evolution across the film. Jules isn't just a gangster, he's a thinker, a man of ritual and reflection operating in a world where morality is murky and violence is a currency. From the moment he enters the screen, Jules commands attention. Dressed in a black suit, sporting a jerry curl, and carrying himself with preacher-like authority, he's not your average gangster. He doesn't kill silently or coldly. He delivers monologues, interrogates his targets, and uses scripture as a psychological weapon.
Ezekiel 25:17. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides.
His recitation of Ezekiel 25:17, the path of the righteous man, is not just flair, it's part of a ritual that gives him control, turning execution into performance. Jules operates as a cleaner for Marcellus Wallace, tasked with handling problems through intimidation and murder. But unlike his partner Vincent Vega, Jules isn't numb to what he does. He's fully aware of the weight of his actions, and his conscience is active even as he pulls the trigger. This self-awareness is what sets him apart from typical cinematic gangsters. He doesn't see himself as a thug. He sees himself as a man with agency, a man who has chosen the path he walks, but who is capable of change. The turning point in Jules's character arc comes after what he interprets as a divine intervention. During a shootout, multiple bullets are fired at him from close range and miss completely. While Vincent dismisses it as luck, Jules sees it as a sign, a moment of clarity. It forces him to confront the nature of his life, his purpose, and the violence he has normalized. This moment triggers a full philosophical shift.
This was divine intervention. You know what divine intervention is?
He begins to reconsider his role, not just in the world of crime, but in the moral fabric of life itself. Jules isn't portrayed as naive. He knows the world won't change because he does. But his decision to walk away from the life, to walk the earth, like Cain in Kung Fu, is powerful precisely because it's personal. It's not a grand crusade. It's one man choosing to stop killing, to break the pattern. He even spares Pumpkin and Honey Bunny during the diner robbery, showing them mercy when earlier in the film he would have ended them without hesitation. It's not softness, it's clarity. Jackson's performance gives Jules an unforgettable edge. His cadence, volume shifts, and ability to toggle between rage and calm give every line weight. He philosophizes, he analyzes, and he acts decisively. He's a gangster with a conscience, not in a romanticized way, but in a practical, deeply human one. He doesn't die, he doesn't snitch, and he doesn't go out in a blaze of glory. He just walks away.
I think we should be leaving now.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
If you enjoyed this, go ahead and subscribe. I've got a lot more content coming. Thanks for watching.